Fatalofa to all you Samoans and whoever's reading this or watching this. My name is Tim Tufuga and I'm doing a book review. I'm actually reading a book by a person named Leigh Sales. The book is called Detainee 002, the case of David Hicks. The reason why I decided to read this book is out of interest and also to understand the motivation behind why David Hicks and people like him are the way they are. Now, I found this book quite relevant in many regards, particularly in dealing with young people and what motivates them in joining extremist organisations. Now, I found the character profile of David Hicks to be particularly interesting in terms of a lot of young people around South Logan City area who tend to be wooed by the faddish interest in terrorism. Now, the person who knew David Hicks, he used to work as a factory fodder as well. I've gotten to know people similar and realised that he was described as a young man with a short person. He was only 5'4", with a lot of ambitions, full of talk, and he wanted to be something that he wasn't. Now, I've read something about him on page 23 of this book. Many of these people shared a similar profile to Hicks. They tended to be young men in their late teens or 20s. Most were not raised in Muslim households and converted late to Islam. Many had troubled teenage years, frequently involving violence, drugs and alcohol. For rebellious Western youths, Islam can be appealing. In the past, communism and Marxism were attractive ideologies for those wanting to express contempt for the establishment. During the Vietnam War era, the counterculture was pacifism. In the United Kingdom, during the Thatcher era, it was punk. In the 21st century, it is Islam. Reverts. People born into the Islamic faith who experience a born-again kind of experience often fit some of the same patterns as Western converts. Muhammad Atta, the September 11 mastermind, only embraced radical Islam in the mid-1990s and oversaw the devastating 2001 attacks as a relatively new convert. Abu Musab al-Zarqawi, the former leader of the Al-Qaeda in Iraq, was arrested in the 1980s for drug possession and sexual assault. He was also a latecomer to radical beliefs. As with any religion, converts or reverts to Islam tend to be abnormally zealous. If they have a guilty past for which they are trying to atone, they can be even more susceptible to inappropriate influence as they try to establish new identities. This phenomenon has been called convertitis. According to Walid Ali of the Islamic Council of Victoria, Australia, the conventional image of a terrorist reared on doctrinal hatred before maturing into an indiscriminate killer is largely imaginary. More typically, terrorists have a relatively short history of religiosity, preceded by deeply unholy past. So you tend to find that a lot of these David Hicks recruits and insurgents in the making are those who have something to atone for.